True, I call it magic. When I'm with you, and I just got broken into two. Still I call it magic. When I'm next to still I call it such a precious truth. If you were to pass, after all that we've been, still believing magic. Oh yes, oh yes I do. Oh yes I do. Oh yes I do. Of course I do. She said, You so now. You rules in school. I the blame for you. I guess I was a fool. You used to ask me still crying the pieces keep can you remember? Can you remember? Somebody else loves Hi, everybody. Hello, hello, hello. Welcome to today's training, all about getting started with your data points. So today you've probably noticed, actually, I don't even know if you can see this, but we didn't make a big deal about this training. We literally just put it on the calendar. We didn't email out about it. We didn't tell anybody about it because today the purpose of today's training was actually to do a good recording of it so we could send the recording out to everybody. However, as you know, if you've been to one of our trainings before, when you do the live, you get to ask questions and I get to give you answers directly back. So it's totally worth showing up for the live. And what's really good is because we just didn't make a big deal about this. There's literally the smallest number of people here, which is great. So you're definitely going to get your questions answered today. So I want to point out before we start recording, I want to point out a few things. If you're watching on our website page, there is just on the bottom row there, a little button that says YouTube. If you click on that button that says YouTube, you'll be able to you'll be able to write in the chat and comment and that kind of thing. So go ahead and do that if you want to. It'll open up in a new window, but it won't start from the beginning again. So if you want to do that, go ahead and do that now. I'm going to get started in about 60 seconds. And like I said, it's going to be a recording. So all of this will be chopped off the front. But before we start recording, I would love to hear from you. So say hello in the chat. Let me know that you're here, where you're from, or where you are today. And then also let me know what made you curious about coming today. No one else will see these. No one else, well, I'll see it and the people who are typing will see it, but on YouTube, it's not going to be public because it's an unlisted video. So go ahead and let me know in the chat what it is that you are looking for today and why you decided that today was a good day to come. So I'm going to go ahead and remove my name off the screen. I don't need that. Let me do that. Hold on 1 second. Perfect. And then also in the chat, if it's your first time, let me know if it's your first time. Just do hashtag first time in the chat and let me know if it's your first time. I wouldn't imagine that it would be your first time today for this particular topic, but you never know. You never know. So we've had loads of people asking us about this training. I actually delivered this as the keynote in Amsterdam last month, was it? Yes, it's still April, so last month. We were in the Netherlands for almost 3 weeks, and I delivered this as a keynote, and it was really well received, and people were super happy with it, and they were just like chatting about it. Even yesterday, I was on the phone call with a supplier, and they're like, we just can't get over the keynote. It was really like, it's made us think so much. So hopefully you have that same response today. So yes, let me know in here. Very good. Oh, good. It's good to see our regulars back in. And if it's your first time, let me know as well. What made you curious about signing up for this today? Because it's not a topic that's kind of sexy. It's not a topic that's exciting to most people. It is to me because I'm super interested in all things data related. I'm a business and numbers person, so I really like it. Oh, where are we today? We're in South America. Let me spin this around. Let's be in, not in Asia. Let's be in Africa today. Specifically because I'm headed off to Egypt in 2 weeks. So we're going to be in Egypt today. There we go. Okay, so let me know in the chat for those of you who are watching the live. Well, you're all watching the live if you can hear me right now, because we're going to cut the beginning off of this. And I'm just really curious to know what made you want to do your data journey with us today. What are you looking for? What are you hoping to learn? And we're going to get started. About 30 seconds. So come on in. I've got some weird stuff going on. My mother used to lick her fingers and then like do that to my face when I was little, and I hated it. Absolutely hated it, but there we go. Okay, so come on in. All right, perfect. So let me get rid of this banner on here. Laurie says, I need to be more strategic. She says, I need to be more strategic in my sales and marketing. Yeah. Do you feel like you're wasting time on things? Do you feel like you're doing things that are not working, or you feel like you're overlooking things that are working and you don't realize it? I'm really curious to know what brought you in today. Sphera Travel, what brought you in? Jamie, what brought you in today? Why are you curious about this? Okay, so I'm going to get rid of this and we're going to get started. Okay, there we go. I'm going to share my screen. Okay, perfect. I would really like to get rid of my name. Oh, here we go. Perfect. Okay. And I don't want this logo up the top either. Okay, perfect. Amazing. Do I want to be here? Do I want to be here? If I'm going to do that, I would like to be like this. Oh my gosh, sorry. All this stuff under my desk. Okay. Oh, I needed lipstick on one side of my face, y'all. Nobody was going to tell me that. I've got no lipstick over here. About to do a recording, friends. I don't know why, but at 5 minutes to 9, sat here waiting for y'all, I decided to paint my nails. Okay, there we go. A great red. We should put some earrings on. Jamie says she wants to find out what's working and what's not working. I think that's really interesting because a lot of people think that they just know what's working. And we were one of those people. And then we realized that we didn't know that there were things that were working. A lot of you'll learn about that today. There was one specific thing that we were doing. That's better, isn't it? There was one specific, what lipstick is that? Girl, it's cheap. It's cheap, cheap, cheap. You know me, I like the really expensive things, but when I find a cheap thing, I'm gonna ride that until the wheels come off. Let me see what it is. It is Neutrogena. Neutrogena, this is what the influencers do. They hold things up like this. Neutrogena Moisture Smooth Color Stick in color 160. And it's like drugstore, but it always makes your lips look really good, even when they're all chapped and wind busted and all the things. All right. Okay. Are we looking right? We are. Okay. Now we're better. Now we're looking good. Okay. So we are ready. We're going to do a good recording today. If you have questions, you can just type them. People are not going to see them unless I put them up on the screen, which I'll only do if it's something really like impactful that people, oh gosh, I'm everywhere today, y'all. Okay. Let me start. Okay. Oh, there we go. Okay. Am I in the middle? Gosh, this is what Okay, there we go. Okay. Hi there, everybody. Welcome to today's training. We are talking all about the very sexy world of data points. And I know that if you are here, you are in one of two camps. You are either super nerdy like me and you geek out on all the numbers and the data and the charts and the graphs. And when you see a very pretty graph, you think, oh, what does this mean? And you lean into it. Or you are frustrated. You are frustrated with marketing and you're frustrated with sales because chances are in your business, you do exactly what it is that you love doing, serving your clients, helping people, but you didn't go to business school. You didn't sign up for marketing school. You didn't go to business school. You don't know anything about running a company. In fact, I actually said this to someone recently. It would be the equivalent of applying for a role as a CEO today. If you saw a role as a CEO on Indeed, what chance do you have of actually getting it? And I thought to myself, if it's a really small company, I think I probably do have a good chance because I worked my way up to VP level in the corporate world in sales and marketing. And then also I've run a really successful business for 6 to 7 years. Not 67, 6 to 7 years. So I have a small chance. But a big company, I stand no chance at all. And here's the thing, the day that we decided to become business owners, we became CEOs. We went to bed with a big idea and we woke up as a CEO. Unfortunately, we don't have a chief marketing officer, a chief financial officer, a chief operating officer. We don't have communications writers. We don't have all these. We don't have marketing teams. We don't have sales agents. We don't have all of these things with us. So we have to also have all those jobs. So it was like, here you go. Here's the CEO role. Congratulations. Unfortunately, there's no CEO pay. You'll have to bring in the sales to get that. And it'll be commission only for a lot of people. And it'll just be your profit margin, mine after you've paid all your bills for the rest. But we still signed up for it anyway. And I'm glad that we did. Here's the thing though, really good CEOs, they have data points that they can work with. They have information, they have metrics, they have people underneath them giving them the information that they need to be able to make the decisions. So in today's training, I want to show you what your business looks like when you go under the hood, when you go under the skin, so to speak. So let's jump straight in. Are you data blind in your own business? We are about to find out today, my friends. So today we're going to take a deep dive into a part of your business that you may not know much about. But first, let me tell you a story. At the start of 2023, I realized that I was running on empty. Absolute fumes. I was struggling with my mental health. My body felt sluggish and I just didn't feel like myself. Something was wrong. I don't know what myself is meant to feel like, but I know what it doesn't feel like. And if you've ever caught yourself saying, I just don't feel like myself, I know that you hear me on this. I needed answers and I needed help. I had found myself really struggling to get out of bed. I'd found myself staying up really late. I found my hydration levels really poor. I just wasn't drinking any water. Exercise, forget about it. I wasn't even going outside on some days. I would go 3 or 4 days without ever leaving the house. I went to my physician who told me to go on a diet, exercise, and just reduce the stress in my life. He said, Sandra, you just got to get rid of all the stress. I don't know about all of you, but unless I kick out my husband, my child, stop being responsible for running a home, putting groceries in the fridge, dinner on the table, stop paying bills, just basically stop breathing, stop living, stress is going to come no matter what. So I asked my doctor for a full lab workup and I asked for a full body scan. Now, I actually had to pay entirely out of pocket for this, and it cost me thousands of dollars. But I really, truly knew that something was wrong with my body, and I was willing to do it to find out what was wrong. And then I sat and I waited for the results to come back. First came the body scan results. Y'all, it was 54 pages. 54-page report with numbers and videos and charts and images just like this. I opened it and I was like, what is this? No, I quickly scanned. Nothing looked like this. Wasn't what we were aiming for. But under my skin, there was a whole lot going on. A whole lot going on. The blood work was like reading Greek, and it was more paper than a CBS receipt. An immediate overwhelm kicked in. What did all these numbers and charts mean? My mind went blank. So there were findings. Both my body scan and my blood work gave me results and a set of data points. And with this data, my medical team found 5 problems. So they devised a plan. Using my data points, a team of medical professionals, each niched in their own field, devised a plan of action to bring my body to optimal health. How did they do it? The data points told them which parts of my body were functioning well and which were not. They were able to identify the cause of each of my findings. So the reason behind it. They were also, with each cause, able to identify that I required either a change of lifestyle or, in one case, medication. They documented the plan and I followed it. So they documented what each of the 5 problems were. Then they documented the cause of the 5 problems, some in my control and some not. And then they documented the action plan. So it was either a change of lifestyle or medication. And 6 months later, 3 of my findings no longer exist. The plan worked. How do we know? Because the data points have changed. Another scan, more lab work, and it tells us that the data has moved, the data has changed. 2 of my findings are still a work in progress, and 1 of my findings is 80% to the goal. Another one just requires regular monitoring and no change of behavior and no medication. So always the entrepreneur, this experience got me wondering, if I could get the right data points for my business, could I identify problems in my business? Could I figure out the cause of those problems? And then could I document a plan to improve the data points, bringing me closer to my business goals? Of course I could. And I did. The results were shocking. They were powerful, they were impactful, and insightful. I gathered my data points from each of the platforms and tools that I used, and I began to connect the dots. I figured out where the holes were in my marketing and sales funnels, and I stopped doing what was not working and did more of what was working. Now, I have to pause a second and tell you that this exercise in gathering my data points turned me gray. It turned me so dang mad with technology, with all of the platforms and the integrations that I use in my business. It made me frustrated. It made me crack the screen in my MacBook. I was so angry that I closed the screen really fast, and the charge cord, it's a magnetic charge cord, and it popped out and it was under my screen and it cracked my screen. And then I was angry because my computer was literally a week old. So I have to tell you, this was a painful experience to go through, just gathering the data points. And I'll go into that in a minute, like a little bit why, but I'll tell you it's because I needed to go into every single platform that I used, find the insights or the analytics for each one. Then I had to create the mother of all spreadsheets, like she wasn't kind. And on what I wanted to see everything on one spreadsheet. So then I had to come up with columns, but I wasn't measuring the same things in LinkedIn or Pinterest that I was measuring in email marketing, for example, or on my website behavior and traffic. It was super painful, but I did it. So I realized that posting on social media was not working for me. I realized that stories and reels were not working for me. I realized that a few of the partnerships that we had were not working for me. Our podcast, huge downloads. Posting on Pinterest, huge traffic. And I wasn't expecting any of this. I mean, I could tell that social media may or may not be working, and I thought to myself, well, maybe it's one of those things where you're using the right shampoo on your hair, but you don't notice for like a couple of months to see if your new regrowth is good or not. You know, that kind of a situation. So I couldn't really tell if it was working or not. I could obviously see the data on each of the platforms, but I didn't know the final impact that it was having in my business. I couldn't connect it to my email marketing results. Like I couldn't connect the dots between social media and email marketing. I could see the analytics for social media and I could see the analytics for email marketing, but because I wasn't looking at them in one place on one dashboard, I couldn't connect the dots there. So my diagnosis to myself was that I was data blind. Do you have data blindness? So here are the results that I got from this mammoth undertaking in my business. Less energy, time, and money were wasted on the tactics that were not going to be working, that were not working. That's exactly what happened. When I got my results and I made the changes, this is what I saw. Less energy, time, and money were being wasted on the tactics that were not working. I had 1,100% email list growth. And you know what's interesting? A higher caliber of leads too. In January 2024, we had our biggest revenue month on history in the business. So it was our biggest January that we'd ever had, but it was also the biggest month, period, in the 7 years of business. So whatever 7 times 12 is, that was our biggest month. It was number one of all of those months. I tried to do that in my head right now, that calculation, it didn't work. Okay, so next step. What you need to do is to find out the data points for your travel business, pull together a test group of the next step was that I pulled together all of the data points for your travel business. Then I pulled together a test group of travel advisors. And then we discovered if data blindness could really be cured and could they have the same results? Because I thought to myself, if I could do it for me, I could do it for travel advisors. The only thing is that your data points are the same. What you can extract from your platform, the platforms and the integrations are the same, but you have different business models than I do. So we had to figure out if we could do that. The essential data that we were able to get comes in 5 different categories, and this is for your travel business. So we pulled 5 areas of your marketing, and these are the 5 areas that we realized, and technically these are actually the same areas as me. The only difference being that because I don't do social media, I only have 4 areas, but I do use 2 other things other than social media, and those are LinkedIn and Pinterest, LinkedIn being a networking platform and Pinterest being a search engine. So these would be the 5 areas of your marketing for your travel business. Each of these is critical for driving high traffic and strong conversions. So if that's what you need in your business, if you need traffic to your business, these are the 5 areas that you would need to measure and pull data from. They're also the 5 areas where you will get the conversion. So you convert strangers into email subscribers. You'll convert strangers into people who are suddenly aware that you even exist. And then you'll convert email subscribers into paying clients. So which specific data points from those 5 areas should you keep an eye on, and where can you access this data? There are 5 sets of data for your travel business, and we're going to look at all 5 of these now and the data that you need to pull for each. So, and I have this as a download for you, so you can download the PDF right after this training. Website data points. So this is number 1. So remember, we were looking at those 5 categories back here. We're going to start right up here with a website. This is number 1, website data points. So the source of where you're going to find your website data points is Google Analytics. This is the data that you're going to be looking for here. You're going to be looking for the number of visitors who go to your website. You're going to be looking for the percentage of new visitors versus old visitors, because both of them are important. You absolutely need to have new visitors. If you don't have new visitors, then that means that you're not getting traffic to your website. If you have only new visitors and you never have old visitors come back, it means that either you're bringing the wrong people to your website or they're not finding what they need to resonate. You want to know, where is your traffic coming from? Is it coming from Facebook? Is it coming from Pinterest? Is it coming for search engine terms that people type in? Is it coming because people literally just put your business name into their internet browser and they go directly to your website because they already know who you are and what your website address is? One of the most visited pages on your website, is it your homepage? Is it your blog? Is it a resources page? Is it a video page? Is it a quiz? Is it your services page, your pricing page? Which pages are people not visiting? Are there pages on your website that never get any traffic? This was actually mind blowing for me because when we looked at our dashboard for our website traffic, we noticed it was like the same 10 pages all the time, but we had about 50 pages on our website. So are those pages even necessary? And if they are necessary, how can we get people to those pages better? And there are answers for all of these things. What was the highest bounce rate? The highest bounce rate means a bounce rate is when they go to your page and how long do they spend on it and what do they do while they're on there and how quickly do they get up? How quickly do they bounce? Is it 1 minute? Is it 30 seconds? Is it less than 10 seconds? Are they on there for 3 or 4 minutes? We put up a page yesterday on our website and the average time on the page was 4 or 5 minutes, 4 to 5 minutes. But the page only takes about 3 minutes to read, which is because that's telling us that people were really going through and rereading sections, thinking about things, scrolling back, looking for information on there. Which pages are the most relevant pages to your demographic? And to know that, you would need to know who is coming to your page. So are they men? Are they women? What country are they coming from? What is their average age? I was shocked for my business to find out that we're attracting a lot younger demographic than when we first started. When we first started, we were attracting a lot of people in their 50s and 60s. Now we're attracting an enormous amount of our audience from 30 to 50. We still have those same people, but the new audience that's coming in is a lot younger. So it tells us a lot about our audience there. That can lead us to make amazing decisions, just get even on the images that we use in our marketing. So area number two out of the 5 was email marketing data points. So the source, where are you going to get this information from? You're going to get this from whatever your email marketing platform is. So that might be ConvertKit, it might be Flowdesk, it might be MailerLite, it could be Constant Contact. You know that we use ConvertKit. So this is an example of what our screenshot looked like when we first opened our dashboard, sorry. You're going to be looking here for new subscribers. You're going to be looking for new subscribers to your entire list, but also just to a specific form. Because a specific opt-in form where they join your email list, the form that people use to join your email list, you'll have different forms for your business as you grow. So it might be a form to complete a quiz. It might be a form just to join your weekly email updates, or if you send a newsletter. It might be a form to download a very specific piece of content on your website or to find out more information. It might be a hosted trip you're running. So which forms are getting new subscribers every week? How many people are opening your emails? How many people are clicking on a link or a button inside of your emails? And how many people are replying to your emails? These are the data points that you'll want to know from your email marketing platform. Let's move along next to your social media data points. So if you are on social media, if you're on TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, if you're on, even though Pinterest is not a social media platform, Pinterest, LinkedIn, you need to go to each of the platform's sites. So you need to go to Instagram, go to Facebook. In fact, both of those you could do together under Meta in their business suite. Go to Pinterest, go to LinkedIn, go to TikTok, go to each individual platform. It is painful, but that's the way to get your data analytics without being able to, and making sure that you're getting the right information. So only one thing that we're looking for here, and that's clicks on any links to your website, your scheduler to make an appointment to meet with you, or your opt-in forms. Yes, there are other metrics that you might be interested in, and those might include number of followers. So how many new followers do you have? You can see in the screenshot on the left, we have a drill down section of your dashboard in our software for Instagram specifically, and underneath that another one. So we can see that this person has 7,256 Instagram followers, but we can also see month to month how many new followers they have. And on the top diagram, you can see actually the age range of the followers and the country that they're from. So you can see the number of followers. You can see the number of likes or comments on a page. You can see the engagement that you're getting. So the engagement for a particular post and the overall engagement for your actual account. Plus, you can see the number of people that visit your profile. Now, these, my friend, are what we call vanity metrics. They're kind of important, but they don't really drive the needle. And I would say if you were only going to pay attention to one main thing, that would be to begin with number of people that are clicking on your website to go across, clicking on the link in your social media to go across to your website, your scheduler, or your opt-in form. If you have traffic going from your social media to your website, you can then look at increasing some of these vanity metrics, the number of followers that you have, the number of likes or comments that you get on a particular post or a page, the engagement and the profile visits. But you don't want to focus on increasing any of these things if you're not getting the traffic to your website. Number 4 is the actual travel content data points. So the weekly content that you put out to show that you are an expert. That could be a podcast episode. It could be a blog or an article on your website. It could be a video on YouTube. It could be a video on Vimeo. But this is not social media content. This is the other content. If you're not doing the other content, I strongly recommend that you start doing the other content and even hit pause on social media. We have a whole podcast episode about our experience when we tried that, and it actually led to us pausing indefinitely our efforts on social media. Because remember, if we go back to this screen here, the only metric or data point that you're interested in here is people clicking off of social media onto your website. It's only one thing that you're achieving from having social media. But when you have other content like videos, podcast episodes, blogs, and articles, you're able to measure more things that are more important. So if you have a blog or an article, you're going to want to measure how long somebody is on that particular page where that information is. So if you put up an article about 5 reasons why you should have global entry, then you want to know how long are people actually spending on that page, because the page itself takes a certain amount of time to read through. It's a 7-minute read. But if people are only spending 1 minute on that page, it tells you that they're not really into that content. You might need to rewrite it. You might need to lay it out differently. How many link clicks inside of the content or at the bottom of the content? So did people click on the link to get next week's piece of content? Did they click on the link to stay updated? Did they click on the link that goes to the global entry information page to their website? That will tell you if it really did resonate, because there's no point putting up blogs and articles. And I think a lot of you get into this habit of putting up blogs and articles and then just being like, job done. Okay, great, done. But actually, that's just the prep work. What you actually need to focus on is driving people to that blog, the traffic to that blog, getting them to read it, spend time on the page reading it, and then getting them to click on something afterwards. That is the call to action. That is the conversion. That is the ultimate goal. If you have a podcast or videos, you're going to want to look at the number of seconds or minutes that people are watching and listening to your content. You're going to want to look at the link clicks after the content. You have a description and somewhere that they can click afterwards. You're going to want to look at, are they clicking on that? And then, yes, the number of people who subscribe to your podcast or subscribe to your videos. Then there's the other column, I call this. And where are you going to get this information? You're going to get this information on a number of places, but mostly it'll be manual for your business, and maybe a little bit as well on different programs like accounting software, that kind of thing. And here's why. Because you'll be wanting to measure here the number of proposals and quotes that you get, the number of appointments that are scheduled in your calendar, the number of phone calls and emails that you get from potential new clients, the number of proposals and quotes that you actually issue as opposed to the ones that you get requested for, the number of planning fees that you charge and the number that are paid, the number of bookings that you get, the amount of revenue that you bring in, and the amount of commission that you get paid. Then, of course, the number of clients that you get and the number of referrals that they bring you. Now, my guess is that you actually know more about number 5 than you do about numbers 1, 2, 3, and 4. But it's actually data point categories 1 through 4 that give you these results. So if you don't know the most popular pages of your website, if you don't know how many people are going to your website every single week, what pages they're looking at, you don't know what they're interested in. You don't know if you're actually giving them the content that they need to be able to make a decision, or if they're just leaving your website. So here's how you're going to get started with data. Now that you know what you need to look for, why you need to look for it, where to get it, and the actual data points that are important, this is what you're going to do. You're going to want to write a list of the platforms and integrations that you want to track data on. So they should be the 5 that I've just shown you: your social media, your website, any of the platforms using to help you drive traffic. It could be Google My Business, LinkedIn, Pinterest. If you have a bigger agency and you take calls, it could be your call software that you get in. It could be, there's literally hundreds of platforms that you could track that you probably use in your business that you don't even realize you can track. So then you would write a list of the data that matter. I've done that already for you for the 5 that I think you should track. And honestly, if you just track these 5 areas, to me, that's all you need. Then you need to log into each of the platforms, so the sources. So if we go back to one, for example, let's go back to this one, your email marketing platform. Here, I said that you would need to log into your marketing platform. So whichever one of these or any other one that you use, log in and then track each of these things. You're going to want to make yourself a giant spreadsheet, if that's the easiest way to be able to track these things. And you're going to want to set a day of the week to be able to go in and pull that data for each of your platforms. Then, as the data starts coming together in this spreadsheet, you're going to want to connect the dots. So how do you connect the dots? Firstly, you look at what makes you happy. With numbers, are you like, whoa, that's cool. That's super cool. I didn't know I was getting that many people from Pinterest to my website every month without even trying. That's a good number. So from there to your website, are you actually getting email subscribers? So when you get the dot between your Pinterest traffic and your website visits, how long are they staying on your website? Then you connect the dot between your website traffic and your email signups. Okay, maybe you can't connect the dot because you're not actually asking people on your website on every single page to sign up for your email address. That would be a hole that you have, an improvement that you need to make. And then you've got to measure the data consistently. So right now, I feel like you're probably thinking, oh my gosh, if I had to collect all this data in one place and jump in every week into 5, 6, 8, 9, 10 different platforms, I think we use maybe 6 to 7 that we track in our business. It's a lot of work. And it is. It's an enormous amount of work. But can you just pause for a second and take a minute to not think about how much work it is, the effort, the time that you don't feel like you have. And let's look at some real data points for some real travel advisors, just to make sure that this is something that is worth doing for you. So travel advisor number 1, this is a real travel advisor. She said we could share her data. She is currently posting on Facebook. She is posting a lot. We went in and had a look at her Facebook account. She is posting daily. And some days she's posting 2 or 3 times a day. So she's putting, I would say, a considerable amount of effort into Facebook. Now, that likely means that she's not doing all the other platforms. In fact, I don't think that I saw anything much going on outside of Facebook. She might have been letting that data go across to Instagram. I don't know, but her focus was on Facebook, and that's where she was logging in and not only but engaging with people as well. So I would say that this is her primary marketing platform for social media. So with less than 4,000 followers, you can see there, I'm just going to point out these data points. Less than 4,000 followers, not even growing that week. Actually, she lost a follower. Look at the total reach. Actually, first, let's look at the total number of page impressions. So here, page impressions, basically what that means is the amount of times that her content showed up in people's news feeds, right? So that would be the equivalent if you switch on Netflix to all of the movies and TV shows showing up, things that Netflix want to tell you. Here's our top 10, here's our new content, here's all of the things that we want you to see. 67,538 page impressions she had in this 30-day period. What's really cool is that it reached 59,000 people, right? That's super cool. Now, she doesn't have any control over the impressions. Facebook decided that for her, but the content was relevant. The people Facebook decided to show it to the point that she got 59,000 total organic reaches. So that means organic means without paying for anything. Isn't that amazing? That is so good. Her engagement rate is so good. Look at the number of Facebook users who are engaged. 2,000 of them are engaged. She got 1,200 likes, 121 comments, 60 shares on her posts, and 38 other types of engagement. I think that that is super cool. Would you love to have this for your business? Well, then we went across to another part of her dashboard and we saw something else, right? Something that didn't make us so excited. So just to recap on what she saw here. So over on the left, you can see what the data is telling us. The impressions and the reach, awesome source. Awesome, awesome, awesome. 3% of her lists are engaged. 97% of her followers, not her list, 3% of her followers are engaged. 97% of her followers ignored her content, probably because they never even saw it, because Facebook and Instagram have always told us that for many years now, only 4% of your audience actually see your content. What we don't know is the web traffic. So the amount of traffic that is going from Facebook across to her website. I'm going to guess that it's a lot because in the posts that we looked at, she doesn't provide anything to click on. There are no links to click on in Facebook. It's really always just a comment and an image. There's never anything for people to do. There's no call to action. Why is it unknown? Because she's not tracking it. She doesn't have Google Analytics set up. She doesn't have any way of tracking her website traffic. So unfortunately, that whole 5-point areas for her business that we feel that she needs to track, she hasn't been tracking. So what's next? Well, the goal would be to convert these 1,438 people, these people just up here, to convert them, because they engaged, into website visitors and email subscribers. That would be the goal, to convert them. Well, it's really 2,000 people to convert them into website visitors and or email subscribers. The only way to get these people back, though, is for her now, unfortunately, to run paid ads and retarget them. Do you know why? Because you're looking at it thinking, well, she already has. She doesn't have them. She has nothing. She has engagement, but she can't actually reach out to these people because she doesn't have their email addresses. And she doesn't know which of these people they are from her followers, who is who, but even if she did, she wouldn't be able to reach them. All she could do is make another post and hope that they see it. So the thing that she can do is to run a Facebook ad. She'll have to put money into it, and she can retarget. She can target the people, which means retargeting the people who have already engaged with her page before. And then still, she has to focus on converting them into website traffic and into email subscribers. That way, they're not completely lost. So can you see here that if you have put so much time and effort into curating amazing content on your social media, if you are not tracking the website traffic and tracking how many of these are converting into email subscribers, you actually haven't achieved anything, because you cannot reach out to these people. I would love for this advisor to be able to reach out to these 2,005 engaged users and these 1,400 positive pieces of feedback, but she can't. She literally is hands tied unless she now goes and sets up an ad campaign to retarget those people, hoping that they'll see it. And she's back doing the very task that she should have been focused on in the beginning, which was the conversion, moving them from Facebook across the website. So let's have a look at Travel Advisor number 2. Travel Advisor number 2 also has great positive feedback. She has 1,500 pieces of positive feedback. Look at the likes, look at the shares, look at the comments. Wouldn't you be so happy to have that? Her engagement is through the roof, 22.4% engagement. She has 1,500 engaged users. Those numbers are amazing. They're so good. But look down here. This is frighteningly disturbing. She only got 3 email subscribers in that out of that entire 1,500 engaged users. So what is this data telling us? The data is telling us that her engagement is awesome. It's also telling us that only 3 of 1,544 people became email subscribers. Now, of course, some people might already be, but highly unlikely. So what is next for her? She needs to focus on converting her social media audience, not collecting them. She needs to drive traffic to email opt-in forms on her website or just across to her website to begin with. She needs to adjust her content to make her audience want more and put that over on her website. So let's wrap things up. I know you have questions right now, and I want you to type your questions in the chat for me because I'm going to answer any questions that you have if you are watching the live. And if you're watching the replay, this is why you need to come to the lives. So let's wrap it up. If you're focusing your time, your money, or your energy on the wrong things, you will get the wrong results. You need to focus on the right tactics to get the right results. And you need to measure often and analyze more. Have you ever noticed that there are people who wake up and they check the stock market right away? Those are investors that are checking their data points every morning. Diabetics check their blood sugar levels all the time, their insulin levels all the time. People trying to lose weight or gain weight check their weight all the time. People who cook check the food temperature all the time when they're cooking. They check the look of the food, the quality, they check the data points. People are always checking data points, but I have a feeling, my friend, that you don't check anything in your business. So I want you to make that change and to become obsessed every morning, running into your computer, opening it up and checking your data points for the morning. That really should become your morning copy in your business. So if you're here for the first time, I want you to keep in touch. Come over to the website. You can email us as well. You have a lot of tools available at your disposal. You have Website in a Weekend, Travel Marketing Revolution. You have Travel Agency Analytics coming soon. It actually has a new name now. You have our podcast, which is free. You have our blueprint, which is free. So a lot of you knew that we were launching Travel Agency Analytics. We're excited because it is launching. It is launching tomorrow, but it's not called Travel Agency Analytics. It is called Insightful. So Insightful will launch tomorrow. We'll send you more information about it if you're watching this on the live. But we are super excited to be able to bring you the dashboard that is going to have everything all in one place. The dashboard that you can log in real time and see what everything is doing. The dashboard that is going to email you a report once a week with the highlights of all of your metrics so you can just sit and look at it. The program Insightful is going to give you a worksheet which takes less than 12 minutes, probably less than 11 minutes every week to go through and to write down the numbers from your report and then put a happy, sad, or ambivalent face next to it. And it's going to help you to know immediately. We're going to train you so that you know exactly what's good and what's not good. Because I think a lot of people will look at the data points and be like, I don't know how to read this. I see the pretty graphs and I see the pretty colors. And it's going to give you one-on-one coaching to help you to where you need to go in a way that you can also peep in on other people's coaching calls as well as your own. So we're super excited about that. But what I want to do right now is I want to come back and I want to answer any questions that you have about data in general, about the platforms, about measuring, about all of those things. So go ahead and type in the comments if you're watching on the live. If you have questions, let me know. So I'm going to go through and let's see. Andrea has on here. If you didn't have Google Analytics set up, doing it after this webinar, how long would you run it before checking your data points? So that's a really great question, Andrea. And basically the data points will come through sometimes immediately, and sometimes it'll take a little while to populate. Some platforms will show you backdated data points, and some of them will start tracking from right then and there. Google Analytics, unfortunately, is one that only starts on the day that you connect it. And there's a really good reason for that. The reason for that is because when you set up your free account on Google Analytics 4, it's called GA4, you're going to be given a piece of code. It's just a little number, like it says UA, usually it starts with UA, and then it's got a number behind it. You have to then connect your website with Google Analytics. They have to talk to each other. So until they start talking to each other and until they're linked together like this, they're not going to be able to pull any data, because Google Analytics is essentially pulling data from your WordPress site or your Wix site or your Squarespace site. It's pulling the data from there and then showing it to you in a dashboard. If you have Insightful, you don't have to go logging into all the platforms anymore. You'll just see everything in Insightful. But it'll only start tracking from when you connect the data. And I hate that for you, because I hate that it's not going to pull data from before. Now, if you happen to have put that in at the beginning of your website, then that's great. You can go in and you can actually start pulling data from previously, even though you've never logged in before. Other platforms like Instagram and Pinterest, they will have analytics for you and data points for you from when you first started your account. But I have to remind you, it's only on business profiles. So if you're using your personal profile, say on Facebook, to talk about your business, it's not going to pull the analytics for you, because analytics or data points is something that only business accounts offer. So if you have Pinterest, for example, it's only going to offer you analytics if you have a business account for Pinterest, not a personal. And PS, if Pinterest is something that you're interested in, go check out our Pinterest course. It opened yesterday. And do not log into Pinterest or start doing anything until you've taken that course, because Pinterest is way smarter than every other platform. And everything you do on Pinterest, even searching for things, has an impact. So make sure that you check that out. But I'm really glad that you asked that question. It's a really, really good question. Any other questions, let me know in the chat, just about data, about platforms, about understanding how to connect the dots, all of that kind of stuff. Let me know. So I want you to download the slides for this workshop that we've done today. I want you specifically to pay attention to the 5 areas that we talked about for your business. I want you to pay attention to the actual data points that you need to collect along there. And then I want you to make the decision if you're going to create a spreadsheet and start popping everything into the spreadsheet every week, or if you're going to sign up for Insightful, if you want to learn more about Insightful, to just have that one dashboard where you can monitor everything. The great thing about Insightful is the program runs for 4 months, which is so good. We adjusted it slightly so that you could jump in and spend 4 months learning, analyzing, getting that coaching. We know that once you're in there, you're going to stay in there. But if you want to, you can opt out after the 4 months, and you don't need to be in there the entire time. We have another question. Jamie says, some platforms can track Facebook groups. Can this track Facebook groups or just the Facebook page? So Facebook groups made changes on April 1st that now make it not easy to do anything with. Where we used to be able to track Facebook groups, like you said, across a lot of different platforms, you no longer can. So unfortunately not the Facebook groups. However, what I will say is that if you're running your Facebook group in order to grow your email list, you're not going to miss out there on the data points that matter, because the data points that matter for your Facebook group are actually your email subscribers growing. And how does that work? If you have a Facebook group where you're collecting email addresses for people to get into the Facebook group, which is what I highly recommend, you will see your email marketing platform data points shift. And specifically, you'll see the opt-in form for your Facebook group. So you should have different opt-in forms set up in your email marketing platform, Jamie. You should have one that's specifically just for your Facebook group. And the reason you don't want just one form for everyone is because you'll never know why they signed up and what's working. And you'll never be able to segment them, split them into little groups, and treat them differently, market to them differently. So we have a form on our website where people who want to join our Facebook group go to that form. You can actually go, if you want to check it out, it's really cool. You can go to travelmarketingandmedia.com/Facebook. And we've completely changed the way that people sign up for our Facebook group. We changed it this week. So now when you go to our Facebook group, if you try to come into our group, it'll say, hey, we'd love to have you in here, but for many reasons, which we'll explain in just a second, go to travelmarketingandmedia.com/Facebook. Everything is there that you need to join in this Facebook group, and then we would love to have you in. When you go across to that website, it actually comes up with the reason that we asked for the email address, and I think we worded it so well. It has a form that you fill in, and that form is specifically only used for people who want to join our Facebook group. Then there's a whole lot of automation that happens in the background where they get an email after they join that. Sorry, they get redirected to a page that's got Facebook welcome. It's a hidden page on our website, tells them the password for our Facebook group and gives them the link to go back to the Facebook group. They click join group, they enter the password, and we let them in right away. Now we can actually let people in the same day that they ask, whereas before it took longer to approve them. And now we have them joining our email list in through that one specific form. So it means that when I go into Insightful every day, because I go in every day now, when I go into Insightful, I can see which of my forms is growing. Did my form that people use to join my list because they want to take a quiz grow? Or did my Facebook form grow? Or did my general sign up to be part of our email list grow? I can also see peaks. When I go and do a keynote on a stage, I can see more people join my list. But what's really cool is I can see why they joined my list. Did they join through the general page, or did they navigate themselves to something else? So I think that with Facebook groups, it is disappointing that you can't track the metrics in your Facebook group so easily. But I wouldn't worry about that, because the whole reason you started your Facebook group was for people to join your email list. So then you can focus on your email data points. And then inside of the group, you'll always be able to see analytics on how they're engaging and how they're moving around, but you're still, regardless, going to be focused on email marketing more than your group, because that was the whole goal, to get them in. So I hope that that's been helpful to you. Go download the slides for this particular workshop. Look at the 5 data points and start figuring out, are you going to do a spreadsheet, or are you going to dive into Insightful and have it all in one place in the dashboard? So I hope you have enjoyed this training. Actually, I have a question for you before you go. I would love to know, type it for me in the chat. What are you most excited about when it comes to data points? So you could say, I want to learn my data point. I want to know more about my data because. I want to know more about my data because. I would love to know that. So I'll give you a second to type that out. I want to know more about my data because. I would also like to know if you had kind of like a aha moment in this training. So was this training helpful to you? If it was helpful, how was it helpful to you? When we were talking, remember back to when we were talking about knowing from a health perspective, all of your labs and your scans and things, and knowing exactly what's wrong, and then having a reason for what went wrong, the actual data itself, and then having a plan. Can you see how that would work in your business? Can you see how having access to this data would work? So I think it's really interesting. I want to know specifically, what it's going to mean to you. And then once you have your data, why is that important to you? So Andrea's saying, I would like to focus on what is working and stop wasting time on things that are not working. I think that's such a big deal. We found out by accident that Pinterest was working for us. It totally shocked us. Like I didn't expect that we would be getting tens of thousands of website visitors from Pinterest to our website, and that Instagram and Facebook would be giving us almost nothing. Almost nothing. I never expected that. And it truly led to us not doing Instagram and Facebook anymore and spending our energy in Pinterest. I never knew that. And I'm so glad. If I never looked at my data points, if I never logged into Insightful ever again, that one change changed the trajectory of my business. So I think that that was cool. Deb says, I want to know more about my data because I can see where my time and energy should be spent and what I can stop doing. Deb, that's huge. I can literally imagine you sitting at your desk saying to, like, looking at the stuff that you've got to do and saying to yourself, Deb, you don't need to do this anymore. It's not working. This is where you put your energy on. I don't know if any of you feel like me sometimes, where you sit down, and I'm a really organized person. I'm very structured and I'm very organized in my work. I have to-do lists. I have project plans. I have project software in the back. Like, y'all can't tell me anything about organization. I'm so organized. But I sit down sometimes and I don't know what task to do next, because everything feels like just a list that I have to blaze through. And having data points, like to Deb's point, having the data, it makes the decision for you. Your data points make the decision for you as to what you should be doing. It's just whether or not you want to know it and whether or not you want to listen to it. Okay. Miss Laurie says, I want to know I want to know more about my data because I want to focus my energy on what is going to grow my email list. Laurie, I hear you on that. I hear you on that, because why would you focus your data on something that's just going to get likes? You know, I see these competitions all the time on Instagram and in the business world, like enter this competition, like this post. And I think to myself, why do you want people to like your post? Like, there's literally an eyebrow pencil that I was looking at on Instagram the other day to fill in my brows because I have holes in my brows. And I was watching this video of how to use this pencil. And it's like, if you want to win an eyebrow pencil, hit like on this post, follow our page, and we'll choose someone randomly. And I thought, that's the dumbest marketing tactic I've ever seen. Come over to our website, watch our eyebrow tutorial, and join our community. Because then, or at least come over to this click on the link in the bio, come over to the website page and watch the eyebrow tutorial, learn how to fill in your eyebrows based on the shape that you have and the shape that you want. And then you have an email opt-in box underneath that. But it's this whole thing of like this to see more of this, or follow this page. But we know that that's not actually helping. Somebody we just showed you has 60,000 impressions and 59,000 engagement on their page, but they only got 3 email subscribers. I think that that would be infuriating for me. Spirit Travel says, I feel like having this data will be helpful. Will Insightful provide training with how to improve my data points? Yes. So Insightful will talk more about it. Today, I just wanted to talk to you about data points, but obviously we'll be talking a lot about Insightful over the next few weeks, because the program starts June 1st. So we have you sign up by May 15th, and then 2 weeks to onboard you and get you ready and get you trained and organized. Not that you have to be trained in Insightful, because you literally don't. You can literally never log in. After we connect all of your platforms, you could actually never log in ever into the platform and be doing great, because we'll just email you every week a full report on exactly the day and time, on a very specific day and time. So we realized when we did our testing, we brought in a test group of travel advisors to Insightful. We realized that they were all eager to connect everything together so that they could see it all. They were all excited to see the dashboard. They were all excited to click around it. You can click in the dashboard. You can go look at just Instagram, just Pinterest, just your email marketing, just your website. And I have to say, for Insightful, even though you can track your email marketing, I actually think tracking your website data and your social media are the 2 most powerful areas. And with email marketing, just knowing that you're getting more subscribers and that you're getting good open and click rates is actually all you need. The email marketing is the smallest part of it. It's the website traffic and the social media, and the Google My Business and the Google ads. Like, it tracks so many different things. But we realized that when people got their data points, Spera Travel, I can't remember your name, that the testers didn't know what to do. They looked at it and they were like, oh my gosh, this is so cool. Wow, look at this. But then they didn't know what to do. So what we came up with is literally a worksheet, and the worksheet is so fast. You print it off, and we considered doing it online, but we were like, no, actually, I think some of you just need a pen and paper, and you print it off and you just fill in the key numbers, and then you check if you're happy with it, ambivalent, sad face, and then you pick one thing on here that you want to improve. So for example, the travel advisor number 1 that we put up, where she got 60,000, number two that we put up, where she had 1,500 people engaging with her, but she only got 3 email subscribers. That might be the one thing that she wants to focus on. So when she gets her report, she fills in, I want to focus on, and then she fills in the blanks. Getting more email subscribers, because my engagement is really good, but I'm not getting the email subscribers. And then we have you send in your question to me. We actually have you do an audio recording. There's a reason why, you'll see later, but we have you do an audio recording, and you read the little script that we give you, and you fill in the blanks, and you say, hi, my name is Jamie. I'm from Missouri. And my question is, I'm really happy with X, but I'm not happy with X. Or another version might be, I noticed on my dashboard report that I have X, and I want to know how to X, and you fill in the gaps. You send it in, and then I actually make you a video recording, an actual video just like this, looking at the camera, telling you things that you can do based on your dashboard. Oh, and my team, they give me a report. So I look at it first. It's kind of like a doctor coming into your hospital room. I'll go through and look at all your charts first, and then I'll listen to your question, and then I'll answer your question, and then we'll give that to you. And you get to watch everybody else's as well. What we don't do is we don't say out loud in your video, we don't say out loud your business name or your website, because we don't want to impact your analytics. We don't want people going to look, but we do want you to know. So we'll say, hey, this is Jamie. This question is from Jamie in Missouri. Well, actually you say it so that I don't say it. So we'll hear you say, hi, this is Jamie from Missouri, and my question is, but we do get you to not ever say your business name. And what we get then is we get a collection of all of these questions coming through with all of these data points, and you will hear someone else's question and be like, oh, wow, that's cool. I'm going to do that in my business. Or you'll go back and check your report. Or maybe you have deciding to run ads and you want to jump in and look real time at your dashboard. Your insightful dashboard will have everything happening real time, which is super cool. So yeah, you do absolutely get training. And then we have a resource center as well, where you can just log in and read. You don't have to wait for your video. You can just log in and read, and it'll be categorized into different areas. If you want to improve social media, if you want to improve website traffic, if you want to improve engagement, here are some things that you can do. It's almost like a checklist for each one. Jamie says, I want to know more about my data points. Oh yeah, so she says, I want to know more about my data points so I can focus your energy there and outsource certain tasks. Yeah, absolutely. I can't believe that I've been outsourcing for the last 6 years, and Pinterest being, for me, it might not be for you, but for me, the biggest game changer in my business. Why don't I have somebody on my team full-time who just does Pinterest? Actually, that's a really good question. Why don't I? I don't actually know the answer to that. Flora, I think we need to hire someone just for Pinterest. Oh my gosh, you guys, that's crazy. And what happens if I just hired a Pinterest expert? What if I hired someone who just does Pinterest? And what if I didn't pay for a whole bunch of other things that I'm paying in my business? What if I lowered all of my expenses in every other area and just hired someone who just did Pinterest? And I don't have to hire someone full-time for a whole year. What if I hired someone full-time for 1 month? And then just got them to set up an entire year of Pinterest for me, because I already know, based on I'm not telling you to do this. Don't you guys do this, because I already know, because Insightful told me that since September 2022, Pinterest always has been my biggest traffic driver without spending a cent on it. What if I then hired someone for a month to do my Pinterest for 12 months? And after that, what if I hired a Pinterest ad expert to set up Pinterest ads for me? You know, this is the kind of stuff that you learn. So yes, I want to know more about that too. Bianca says, hi, Miss Bianca. Thank you, Miss Bianca, for everything that you have done for Anthony and I in the last few weeks. We appreciate you. She says, I want to know more about my data because I'm not getting any email subscribers. I need to do a deep dive and stay focused. I'm looking forward to Insightful. I just feel like, Bianca, what you're saying is exactly how I felt when I didn't feel myself, when I didn't feel good in my body. I knew something was wrong. I knew something was wrong because if y'all could have seen me in the mornings, you would have been like, oh my gosh, is this depression? Is this like, what is this? Because I wasn't in a good place. I wasn't seeing friends. I wasn't doing anything. Literally, do you know what? Tonight I'm going out with a girlfriend for dinner. We're going on a girls' night. It's my first time to go out in 5 years with a friend. Literally. And I texted her because I was too shy to call her. I texted her and I was like, hey, she's really amazing. She's super accomplished and I'm intimidated by how great she is sometimes, but she's the most amazing friend. And I texted her and said, do you want to go for dinner with me? She said, I would love to. She said, throw some dates at me. I'm like, here's 3. She was like, okay, great. Let's meet. So we're meeting up tonight. We're going for girls' dinner. I cannot wait. She texted me yesterday and she said, are you good for tomorrow night? Do you have a preference for a restaurant? I'm like, I would sit at McDonald's with you for 3 hours just to get out of the house. So why am I telling you about this? Oh, because I hadn't been doing stuff like that. For 5 years, I hadn't been doing stuff like that. So when I say to you, I wasn't myself, it was not just in how I felt in my body. It wasn't how sluggish I felt. It wasn't how overweight I was. Like I was 33 pounds heavier than I am now when I just wasn't feeling myself. And I remember just thinking something's got to change. So I know how you feel, Bianca. You're like, something has to change. I'm not getting the email subscribers. You have an incredible website. So it's got to be in your marketing. So your data points are going to literally tell you exactly what you need to know. And I love that we can replace feelings with figures. No more feelings. No more like, I feel like Instagram works for me. I feel like Facebook works for me. I feel like Pinterest works for me. We're not doing that anymore. We're literally just going to look at the data. Imagine if doctors analyzed and prescribed based on what they thought we had and never ran tests and never ran labs. That would just be so crazy. Okay, perfect. Love this for you today. Have a great day, everybody. Go out and have an amazing day. Download the slides. Watch out for the emails about Insightful, and we will see you in our next workshop. Bye for now.